we have done a lot of content on paper 2, which is settlement and geomorphology, and therefore, which is settlement and economic geography, and therefore, this time around, I want us to do some little bit of map work. That's why I emphasize that we need to do this map work today. All right. So before we start with the map work section, I want to remind you that don't forget this is paper 2, and don't forget the areas of concentration that we are supposed to focus on. Remember, it's PWV and Durban Pine Town, which is the core industrial regions that are going to focus that we are going to focus on this term or this year. Then we look at the SDI, which is Maputo, the Dube Port, which is IDZ. Then we shall also have to focus on sugar, as well as, which is sugar plantation in KZN, as well as gold mining. All right. So in that sense, I want us to start with our map work for this time, and I've selected a few past papers that we are going to deal with. I as well have the maps with me, so I'll be projecting the maps. If probably you need to have a ruler, a pencil, and a pond tractor, and if you have any question, please don't hesitate to ask, so that I can be in position to assist you where necessary. Okay. Please prepare. Be with a pen, be with a pencil, and be with a calculator, so that if I say calculate for me this, I don't want you to say you don't know what I'm talking about, because you'll be having the calculator with you. All right. Let us start with this question. The question, the map that we are going to deal with is Odendalas. And that map, we have this content here. I want you to take just a few seconds while you are reading that content with me. Okay. It says coordinates 27 degrees 52 minutes south, 26 degrees 41 minutes east. Those are the coordinates for the area. Odendalas is the oldest gold mining town in the gold fields of Free State in South Africa. Okay. The town was once just a variety of farms with one central church. However, when gold deposits were found in 1946, the area earned its place on the map, attracting a number of settlers who wanted to be part of the gold rush. This is where the richest gold field in the world was discovered. So basically, we get that content. You might find some questions that will require you to come back to this extract, and then we'll refer to it. All right. I hope you're with me, and I hope I'm very clear. Okay. We quickly go to the questions. I will open the map and we'll look at the question. We are going to start with the map skills and calculations. They say refer to the topographic maps. So learners, before you start even looking at the questions that are asked, you start by looking at the kind of map that is asked you to refer to. Since the question is asking to say refer to the topographic map, we quickly rush and look at the topographic map. So here are the two maps that we are supposed to use. The topographic map is here. This is the topographic map, and this is the orthophoto map. So by looking at this topographic map, we get the question. The question says refer to the topographic map. All right. And it says, when calculating an area on the map, the scale is used to be. When calculating an area on the map, the scale is used to, number one, represent the area on the topographic map, calculate the area in reality, represent the area on the orthophoto map, calculate the height of the area, the reality area. But remember, the question says we are using the topographic map. So in this sense, we have to first of all eliminate what is not needed. So basically, C is out because it is talking about the orthophoto map. So we are when calculating an area on the map, the scale is used to represent the area on the topographic map, calculate the area in reality. So when you look at this, represent the area, it is the right answer, because calculating the area, it's not its only use only. It is one of the subsidiary uses of the scale. Representing the area on the orthophoto map. So this is basically looking at the orthophoto map only. So that one is out. Calculating the height, we can also use it, but it is not for calculating the height. So the right answer there is A. Okay. We go to the next question. The next question says 3.12. It says calculate the area which is demarcated in red or black on the topographic map. Let us see the topographic map. We come here. When you look at this topographic map, which one is demarcated in red? The area that is demarcated in red is this section here. Okay? Is this section here. So when they say calculate the area, what do we do? Let's go back to the question quickly. The question says calculate the area demarcated in red. Okay? Calculate the area demarcated in red on the topographic map in kilometers. They want the answer in kilometers. Okay? So because they want the answer in kilometers, what do? We quickly measure our distance, okay? And we convert it the way they want it to be converted. Okay? So they said the length is already measured 3.7. We come here, meaning that we have this part here, we have this part here. The longest part will always be the length, and the shortest part will always be the breadth. So what do? We come here and we measure. You get your ruler, you measure from here to here. But according to the question, they said the length is already given. So since the length is already given, we are just going to calculate what is not given. Okay? We're just going to calculate what is not given. So the length is there. So what do we need to look for? We need to look for the breadth. Okay? So on calculating this area, we shall get the breadth. All right? We shall get the breadth. And let's see. So from here to here, they said 3.5. So from here to here, we shall measure with a ruler. I might not have a ruler with me here to measure this distance, but I'm going to take the assumption that here is 3.5 centimeters. Okay, so I'm going to use a blank page here. And when I use a blank page here, you say calculate the area. So our area is like this. So if this is, according to the question, if this is, quickly, I'll check here. If they say the length is given 3.7, what will be the breadth? Let's quickly go to the map. So if the length is given, the longest part is given 3.7. So we're going to say here, okay, so this part here is 3.7 centimeters. So we need to measure this from here to here. Let's take an example. Let's say this one is 3.5 after measuring. So please, learners, don't forget that we have to measure that distance. We come to the formula. The formula is L times B. So L times B, what is the value for L? The value for L is 3.7 centimeters. Okay, and the value for B is also 3.5 centimeters. But here we have to multiply by the scale, and here we also have to multiply by the scale. Since the question says calculate the area demarcated in red on which map? Topographic. So please, learners, don't forget this topographic, and they want the answer in kilometers squared. So what do? We come here, we say, you remember this box. If it is a topographic map, we say, if they want the answer in kilometers, what do we use? 0.5 kilometers. If they want the answer in meters, we use 500. If it's orthophoto map, it is 0,1. This is kilometers, and this is 100. Okay, so we come here. So we say 3,7 centimeters. We multiply it by 0,5. Okay, then we come here 3,5 centimeters. We multiply it by what? By also 0,5. Why 0,5? Because they want the answer in what? They want the answer in kilometers. I hope we're together, guys. If you have any question, you can just share it in a comment. So 3,7 times 0,5, what do you get? Here, you are getting 1,85. This is kilometers times, okay? So we say 3,5 times 0,5. What do you get? Here is 1,7 kilometers, so that we can get kilometers squared when you multiply kilometer by kilometers. So it's going to be that one times 1,85. Okay, and what is the answer that you are getting? You're getting 3,2375. Okay, and that becomes our answer. Remember, it's a 4 marks question, therefore you have to look at it nicely and you'll be in position to answer it. I hope we understand each other, guys. If there is any question, please ask, tell me before I proceed. Okay, we go back to the question because they want the answer in what? In kilometers. So we're done with that. We go to 3.12. Okay, they say the true bearing from the trig station, this one, trig station, trigonometrical station 286, that is F in block B4, to the spot height 1357 G in block C5 is this. Okay, the true bearing of this to this is this. What is the question here? Okay, so they want you to choose between this and this one. Which one is right? Let us, when you're looking at true bearing, remember we didn't see even true bearing in paper 1, so you can get it in paper 2. And you also didn't see area in paper 1, so you're likely to get it in paper 2. So please take note of that. So the key aspect here is from. So what is the starting point? The starting point is 286 in block B4. We come to the map here. I don't know if you can see B4. So from here, from F, which is here, to what? To spot height in C5. The spot height in C5, C1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this could be our spot height. So we are starting from where? From here to here. So what do we do, learners? I told you we first of all join these two places with what? With a straight line. So what you do, you draw a straight line joining those two places. So since they tell us to start from here, you come here and then you draw your true north line. All right, this becomes true north. So we are moving clockwise from the true north to this line that is joining the two places. If you look at this line, it is not even jumping this 180 line, because from here to this line here is 180. So we are looking for the true bearing from here to this line. So the answer definitely is supposed to be less than 180. So let's go to the options given to us. There is this option, there is this option. So which one do you think is right? Definitely the answer is below 180. So the best option is 161 degrees. So that is the right answer according to this question. I hope you understand that. So what you must understand that when you're looking at true bearing, we first of all join the two places, but the key aspect you're looking for is from in the question. From gives us the starting point. So you draw lines joining those two places, and when you draw the line joining the two places, then you will know that, okay, if this is the line joining the two places, then where is the starting point? The starting point, that is where you draw your true north line. So after drawing your true north line, then you are in position to determine your true bearing. Okay, next question. The next question, also we did not see this in paper 1. I didn't see the calculation of the magnetic declination in paper 1. So you can see it in paper 2. So please be prepared for that. Okay. They say calculate the magnetic declination. We come here. They say calculate the magnetic declination for Odendelas from for 2023. For which year? 2023. Because this paper was in 2023. You never know. This time around, they might ask you to calculate the magnetic declination, but for 2025. The only thing that might change is this. Use the information given below. So this time around, they do not want you to go to the map. You remember? If you remember, I told you that we use this information here. All right? But this time around, we are not going to use this information because the information they want us to use is given here. So the difference in years is already calculated. Okay? The mean annual change is already calculated. So what are we calculating? We are calculating the total change. The total change will be this one. Okay? Total change is going to be, it's going to be this times this. So it's going to be 3 years times 10 minutes. What are you getting? Here we get 30, sorry. Here we get 30 minutes. Okay, sorry for that. Here we get 30 minutes. All right. So the magnetic declination for 2023. So we go to the map and check what was the magnetic declination for that year when this map was extracted. Let us go back to the map. We check here. It is 21 degrees. I don't know if guys it's clear for you there, but I'm trying to read what is here. It is 21 minutes. I don't know, maybe it is 21 degrees 00 minutes. So if that is the case, well, then we come here. Okay, so the one for the year, for the time when the map was created was 21 degrees 00 minutes west of true north. What do? Here we just add the change that we got, the total change from the 2021 period to the present year. According to this map, the present year is this. But when you are doing your exams, it might be 2025. It will be 2025 if they give you the question like this. So we add here. Please take note of this, learners. We add this the way it is. 00 plus 30, so you get 30 minutes. And here you just write 21. If you're good at forgetting, you can use your calculator and get the answer right. Okay? So that is all that you needed to do. Okay? And then the next question says, use the answer in 3.1 and 3.14 to calculate the magnetic bearing for 2023. So that means they want us to calculate the MB. MB, the formula is down here, which is the TB plus the MD. What is TB? TB is this answer you got here, which is 161 degrees, plus this answer you got in 1.4, which is 21 degrees 30 minutes. So these are degrees, they go with degrees. So 21 plus 161, you get 182 degrees. How many minutes? The minutes remain 30 minutes. And then you go on. So please don't forget here to put the units west of true north, because if you forget it, sometimes they don't mark it. And another thing is that you see there are 3 marks. Ask your question, where are the 3 marks? Yourself a question, where are the 3 marks coming from? Just writing 3 times 10, you get this, and you add, no. So the mark is going to be given for this, the mark will be given for the plus sign, and the mark will be given for a final answer. Meaning to say, please don't forget to plus here. So why I'm telling you this is because here they say the west of true north. If we are moving west, we add. Please don't forget, if we move east, we subtract. Okay, I hope that is very clear. We move on to the next question. It's now interpretation, right? So how do we apply the interpretation in this sense? We shall be using the map. You will excuse me because the map is not so clear because it has been scanned. So some of the things that we might want might not be clear, but I will try to explain what you can use in that sense. So it says refer to Pakistan motor race track, which is H in block B3. Let me see if it is visible. B3, H is here. So that means this is the track race. When you talk about the track race, guys, you understand that that is the area where they race cars. Okay. On the topographic park, in which land use zone is this located? So please, learners, understand. Here, when you look at the map, you can even locate where it is. However, this is a trick for you to remember that the following are located in the following land use zone. Okay, number 1. Actually, the answer here is rural, urban, fringe. Why? It's because there is enough space, there are fewer people there, and so on and so forth. But the following are the indicators if you were to find out where the rural urban fringe is found. Number 1, these are the indicators. If you see a golf course, that means that is where we see the rural urban fringe. If you see the shooting range, that is where we see the urban fringe. If you see the runway or the air, the runway or the runway, or we can call it the landing site, or that can only be found in that, okay, in that region. Then the shooting range, the golf course, the runway, okay. And now here we can talk about the track racing. All those regions are found in those areas. Okay, why? Because there's enough space that can be used, and they are not. That place is not having a lot of people. Remember, when they talk about land use, we are referring to what is the land used for. Remember, under settlement, you know the land use we're referring to, the CBD. Okay, we have the rural urban fringe. The residential area, all right, residential area, the industrial zone, which industry we note is basically the heavy and light industry. But when you say industrial zone, you are basically looking at areas designated for heavy industries, the outskirts of the city, close to the the main transport route, near the water sources. Why? Because heavy industries make a lot of noise. Residential area is basically where do people stay, residents. And remember, this is categorized into 3. There is the high income, there is the low income, which are the informal sectors, and there is also what we call the middle income. Middle income, we are referring to those 2-3 bedroom houses. Low income, we are referring to the informal settlement, and high income, we are referring to those areas like the mansions, say the Santon area, for high income earners, those people who get a lot of money. So rural urban fringe is when you are moving from the urban areas to the rural areas. Okay, then we have the CBD, then we have the industrial zone, then we have the OBD, we'll call it the commercial land use, okay, that are basically used for commercial businesses and all that, okay, and so on and so forth, plus others, but you will look at them when you look at paper 2. How does the location of the racetrack reduce the possibility of environmental injustice for the residents of this area? How does the location of the racetrack reduce the possibility of environmental injustice? Like, we're looking at the racetrack, how could it be reducing the environmental injustices? In this sense, we are trying to say, when you talk about the environment, you're seeing at what are the aspects that we're supposed to look at when we say environmental injustices. When we talk about environmental injustices, we are basically looking at how the environment will be unfairly used. Maybe that area would be left redundant and how it is put into use. Okay, it will be put into use, using it for the racing and so on, the racetrack. Okay, yeah. So let's move on. The next question say refer to the topographic map and the orthophoto map. So this question is now combining the two areas. Okay, the question is combining the two areas of interest. So we are looking at the topographic map as well as the orthophoto map. So our focus is going to be on those two areas. So you will find out that some, in one way or the other, you're going to combine. Yeah? Okay, you're going to combine the two maps. Okay, so that you are in position to understand, to apply, to be in position to use both the maps in order for us to answer this question. So when it comes to this, I'm going to ask you learners, you normally have to integrate both maps. Remember, the orthophoto map is coming from the topographic map. In that area that it is demarcated in red, look here, this is where the orthophoto map is coming from. So we are going to combine both the maps so that we can be in position to answer the question. You will excuse me where you feel you cannot see properly because the map has been scanned many times for it to be in position to be online. Okay, let us see the questions that are asked to us and then we answer them properly. Refer to the topographic map and the orthophoto map. The first question is the main activity at 6 on the orthophoto map is mining or quarrying. We come to this where 6 is here. I'm not sure if you can see, guys. I'll try my best to make sure that you see, but I don't know if when I zoom it out, then you can see. You tell me, you can tell me if you can't see, but if you can see, then it is okay. So we are looking at this area. This area is this part here. Let us put it together. This corner here is this corner here. This corner here is this corner here. This road here is this road here. You can see it comes like this, it branches, it goes that side. You see, it comes this side. Then coming down here, this one goes this side, which is R31. And I probably know that this is the R31 here. Okay, this one. Okay, then that road goes down R30. So the road, this road here is basically R30. This one that comes through, but we are focusing on this part here. So this corner here is this corner here. Okay, so you can see that is what we mean by integrating the map. Okay, and then based on the question that is asked here, we are using both maps and we want to understand what is the main activity taking place here based on what you see. What do you see this activity could be? Do you think you can identify the activity? If you can't, then we can also look at this. This can help us to also understand sometimes. That is if the questions are provided or some of the activities are provided. But based on this, it's basically mining of gold in the town. So I would conclude my answer to say that the main activity taking place there could be the mining, not necessarily the quarrying. I don't know if you know the difference between the two. Mining is basically the extraction of minerals from nature. Quarrying is the breaking of stones for some other use. So the main activity there could be mining. Okay, what evidence is there? The evidence that is there, let us look at the evidence. When you look at this, this looks like a minefield. Okay, this ditch here is a minefield. You can only get it clearly when you look at this map here. I'll try to enlarge it a little further. Look here, this part here, 6 here, is this section here. If you enlarge somewhere here, they say that is what we call an excavation here. I don't know if you can see it that side. So this area here is basically for mining. So it's basically the mining field that we see there. All right. Identify the transport infrastructure that supports the main primary activity at 6. The main primary activity at 6, what is the transport infrastructure? You come here, the main transport infrastructure is this one here. And what is that? That is a railway line. Okay, you can see this is a railway line that comes here and then it goes out. So the main transport infrastructure is this. You can see this one. This is a railway line. Then it comes out. This black one here is a railway line that connects this mining field. Okay. Then we move on. We go to question 3. Refer to the topographic map. You see the map that they want us to refer to is a topographic map. So you quickly go to the topographic map and check the area that you are asked to look at, and then you answer those questions clearly as you see them. Okay. They're saying identify the main street pattern I in block A1 and in block A2. Okay. They say identify the main street pattern. You can now think of, when you talk about street pattern, what comes in your head? We remember we have the gradient, we have the planned irregular, we have the planned irregular. Okay. So in that sense, they want you to identify the main street pattern there. And therefore, indices, we say we go to the map quickly. Here is the map. Where is I? I is here. What do you see here? You see that this looks like, it looks like blocks. You remember? If you remember very well, when you're looking at street pattern, we said we have planned, we have irregular, planned irregular street pattern, we have the grid. Okay. And then when you check here, if you look at the kind of diagram that I gave you in your books, you will see that this one look like bricks, like grid. So the answer that you're going to have down here is the grid street pattern. Okay. I hope we are clear there. Grid. So the answer we are going to have, I has got grid or gradient street pattern. All together then. All right. Then you got the next question. The next question says, why is the street pattern identified in question 3.A associated with traffic congestion? Remember, grid looks like this. It has got a lot of intersections. Intersection here, intersection, 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 like that. These are all intersections. And normally, it is one-way streets. For example, when you go to Johannesburg, the streets are one way. When you go to cities, mainly in cities, it is one-way street patterns. So it takes that shape. So why is it associated with a lot of traffic congestion? Number one, it is because they have a lot of intersections. There are very many areas where roads are intersecting. And you know that in most cases, when these roads intersect, there is the traffic lights. There are always traffic lights. Traffic lights come on, yellow, red, green, yellow, red, and then you wait until when you go. So in that sense, we shall have a lot of traffic when those intersections are there. Or wherever there are intersections, there are traffic lights. And in most cases, when these traffic lights are not working, it's a problem. You know that. All right. So that is why they have a lot of traffic congestion. Part C, how has the topographic map how has the topography influenced the layout of the street pattern identified above? The topography, how, when the question is asking you about topography, it's basically saying how is the relief, the nature of the land, influence the way the streets are existing. Remember, for the streets to be straight, one way, going through to the end, coming from the other end to another end, it is always taking place where the gradient is what? Is flat. Okay? So one of the reason, or the main reason why we have this kind of street pattern is because of the flat land. So the flat land helps in the easy construction of those roads to be one way. I told you, when you see them like that, think of Johannesburg CBD. When you see them like this, coming like this, going this way like this, so these are unplanned, irregular. These are basically in areas like locations or mountainous areas. So it is basically because of the gradient. Therefore, they cannot go straight. They keep on curving, bending, going into ends like so. So that is what we mean. So the answer here is because of the flat land. Okay, so the flat land helps in the construction of the grid street pattern. I hope we are together, guys. I hope we are together, guys. Okay. All right, we go on to the next question. Now we're done with interpretation. Remember, the questions you're going to face is that interpretation is going to be covering all the topics you have covered. It can come with a topic from geomorphology. It can come with a topic of settlement. It can also come with a topic of economic geography. So if you basically understand, if you look at these questions you have looked at, the questions have got settlement questions, okay, or settlement content, and they also have economic geography content. So you'll be in position to integrate. So if you lack content, it's going to be very difficult for you to answer such questions. Okay, let's look at GIS. This is 8 marks, and guys, I don't want you to take this GIS lightly, because those marks in GIS are for free. We have looked at these things several times. Okay, let's see GIS. GIS, we reference information X and Y. So we have this and this, okay? Extracts from Odendera's topographic map, which indicates different types of what? Of data, all right? So we have this reference here. National road, this is the national road. The way you see this N, arterial route, there's R there. Main road, it's like that. Perennial river, it's like that. Perennial water, it's like that. Non-perennial river, it's like that. Like this is X. So Y is here, and when you look at Y, you can see that it is basically the interpretation of this. This is arterial route. So this arterial route is basically this one. You can see the color here is the same color here. There is R here, there is R there. The only difference is that this is R70, all right? Then there is water source there. We can see the water source. We can see other roads there that are existing. So in this sense, this one is trying to interpret this. These are symbols that are interpreted on the map. The first question. The first question is, the location of J is here. Here is spatial or attribute. J is this. And what is J? J is this line here, which is 27 degrees, 53 minutes. Remember, the types of data, we have got spatial data. I'll just briefly take you a little bit back. There is attribute data, okay? There is spatial data, there is attribute data, there is raster data. I think you remember that. Spatial data, it shows the location of a place. So when it talks about location, what do we look at? We look at the coordinates. When I talk about coordinates, I'm referring degrees, minutes, which is indicated here and indicated here. Okay. Then we also have what we call the attribute data. Attribute data gives further explanation of information, geographical feature. For example, this road here is arterial route, but what is it? It's R70. So R70 means it's part of attribute because it is giving us further information about this road. All right. Then we have got raster data. Raster data is data in form of pixels, which is now image. So here we look at pixels, image. For example, an orthophoto map is an example of raster data. Then we have vector data. What is vector data? Vector data is data in form of points, lines, and polygons. For example, spot height is a point. A road and a river is a line. Then a dam is a polygon. It forms a shape. So a dam, a river, a road, a spot height is an example of what? Of vector data, but in different portions. A point, spot height. A river is an example of a line. A dam is an example of a polygon. So it is categorized all under vector data. So looking at this, I think, like learners, you can identify even the answer, because J is pointing at the line, this line, and this line has got coordinates. Therefore, the answer is what? Is spatial data. Okay, so here the answer is spatial data. Okay, we go on. Give the spatial data of J in degrees and minutes. These people were they just wanted you to get the answers for free. So what do we do here? You just write these coordinates and you write these coordinates. Remember, what do we start with? We start with a latitude and then we go to longitude. Remember, latitude is drawn horizontally, longitude is drawn vertically. So which one is horizontal? This one. So please, learners, don't forget, you will have to start with this. If you start with this, it won't be right because it is not in the proper sequence geographically. So what do we write? We write 27 degrees, okay, 53 minutes, right? And then we go on. But remember, that one is the latitude, which we have to put S there. Then we go on. The next one is what? 26 degrees. How many minutes? 42 minutes. This is E, and those are 2 marks. Okay, so you see how geography is easy. For the love of geography, please make sure you understand these things. Okay, part C. Part C, it says, how does reference information X, where is X? This one here. How does reference information X assist in identifying the attribute data of the road in extract Y? How does this one assist to identify the reference information of the road? When you look at this, look at this. At X, we have the national route. How do we see the national route? If you see it in this color, and there should be N, it is not existing here. All right, arterial route, it is this color with R there. The R is there. Can you see that? So how does it assist? It only assists you to tell or to say that this type of a road is maybe a national road or an arterial route. So it assists to tell whether it is a national road or arterial road. In other words, it assists to tell which type of road is it. That's all. It assists us to tell which type of road is it. Is it a national road? Is it a main road? Is it an arterial road? Like that. So you can only tell the type of the road by looking at the key to identify that this road that looks like this, that has this color, is this kind of a road. Okay, it's this kind of a road. All right. We go on. Spatial resolution or remote sensing is used to collect information from a distance. I think, learners, you must be knowing these definitions by now. Spatial resolution, we are looking at the electromagnetic spectrum. Spatial resolution. Then we look at the remote sensing. Remote sensing is the only answer that is right. What is remote sensing? Remote sensing is the acquisition of geographical data about the Earth's surface without being in contact with it or from a distance. So the answer here is remote sensing. When you talk about spatial resolution, we are referring to how you can identify the primary colors, the secondary colors on the road, on the map. Remember, we can look at it to say red is primary, white is secondary, like that. So that is what's the use of spatial resolution. We go to the last question. The last question in this paper is, what is the advantage of collecting information from a distance for the activity at 6 on the orthophoto map? We'll go to the orthophoto map. 6 is here, which we all know. We have identified the 6 as what? As mining. All right? The 6, in other words, the activity at 6 is what? Is mining. If you know that it is mining, now let us look at it. What is the advantage of collecting information from a distance for the activity identified in 6? If it's mining, what do we know about mining? Remember, mining is the extraction of minerals from the earth's surface. Maybe the minerals are dangerous. So if the minerals are dangerous or they can cause smoke, remember those people who, minerals can cause when they blast a rock, you can inhale the dust and you get sick. So when you collect information from a distance, it is good because you will be safe. Okay? So it is safer. You are not going to be there, so there is no way you're going to be affected by the dust. Neither the rocks can affect you, or when it collapses, it can't affect you. So you'll be safe because information is collected from a distance. All right? You won't be there physically. All right? Number 2 is if you collect information from a distance, it does not require you to be going there timelessly. Go and check what's happening. No, you are just somewhere, you set your satellites, or you use your cameras on the plane or somewhere, and they give you information about a place. So that means it is you can get regular updates. You can get timelessly updates. So every time you will get updates because you're not going to be there. Imagine, let me take an example that the mine is in Florida and you are staying in Johannesburg CBD. Will you be in position to travel? How many minutes you are going to take from there to travel and come take information about the area and go back? But if you just set your camera somewhere or your satellite somewhere, you can get updates on what is happening in that mine timelessly without going there. Okay, so in another sense, it saves time. Okay, it saves time. It saves time. So it is advantageous because it saves time. Okay, another way is that it is cheap. You see the advantages. It is cheap, but they only want one reason. It is cheap. Okay, it saves time. It is cheap. You don't need to waste time to travel. I want you to remember that gone are the days when our parents send us to go somewhere, they will send you walk a distance to take the information. Because these days you have got phones, you have got internet, you can get information about any country from miles and miles away without being there. So it is important. It saves time, you understand, and it is cheaper. It is easy. You can collect the data so easily, and you can even get accurate information about the area. Okay, you can get accurate information. You can acquire accurate information about the area. I hope that is very clear, my students. Okay, I'm sorry for the maps that they are not so clear, but I'll try my best. Okay, like I said, today's focus is only on map work, and I want to look at another question. And then when you look at another question, this is going to assist us to see a variety of questions and how they are set. Okay? All right, let's look at this map, this question. This is about George, okay? And remember I told you that I'm only extracting questions, I'm only dealing with questions and different calculations, and I'm targeting a few fields that were not talked about in paper 1, such that if you get it there, you will be in position to answer it. I'm not saying that what was examined in paper 1 cannot be examined in paper 2. They can still bring average gradient in paper 2. Do you understand? And they ask you on how traffic can be controlled. But remember, traffic congestion is the question that is part of what? That is part of paper 2. So anything can come, but I'm trying to see what was not looked at there. Let us look at George. But remember, before you look at George, you need to know the information there. George is ideally located between Cape Town and Rebecca, Port Elizabeth, with a beautiful natural surroundings and a temperate climate. a low crime rate, and a national airport are among the many reasons the town has seen significant growth over the past 2 decades. It is a popular tourist destination because of the nature walks, bird watching, hiking, canoeing, mountain biking, and horse riding, which are all within the close proximity to the town. All right, that is the information that is given to us. All right, then we go look at the questions that are provided. Okay, the questions that are provided to us are the following. Look here, they say refer to which map. This is very important. So when you are answering the questions related to map work, please first highlight the map that they are referring us to. We go to this and we look at George. George is here. Okay, I have this map here and I have this map here. This time around, the question wants us to focus on the orthophoto. Look at the question, the orthophoto map. All right, and since they want us to look at the orthophoto map, we shall look at it. There's no stress. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. There's no Satan in looking at it. Don't rush, my people. Don't rush. Take your time. If you don't take your time and you rush, this is your last race that you are running. So I don't want you to finish in a bad way. Finish strong. And I believe all learners can finish strong. Okay, let us look at the first question. They say the height of the height at 6 in block C1 is dash in meters. 6. We go to the map. 6 is here. 6 is pointing exactly at this contour line here. This contour line here. You see this contour line that is passing. But let us now, first of all, identify these contour lines that are there. Okay? We have this contour line here. We have this contour line here. We have this contour line here. When you look at the pattern of the contour line, here they are increasing, going this way. That means going outwards. It should be decreasing altogether. So if it is decreasing, what is the range we have there? I'm trying to see. There's 100 here. Let me first see the interval of it is 5, no? Okay, if it's 5 and this one is 100. So what shall we have? 5. Okay. This one looks like 100. So that means going outwards here, we are going to be deducting. So this is how we are going to move, deducting going downwards, because it looks like here it's getting into the center. But when you look at the nature of, is it decreasing or decreasing? Is it decreasing or increasing? Look at that. Let us first of all look at the options given to us. Okay. Kids, I can't see clearly the contour lines here. I can't see the readings properly. But it looks like these contour lines are increasing, coming this other side. That's how it looks like. So you can just add 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and then you'll find the answer for this. However, if you are in an exam and you look at this, you'll see the numbers here. All what I want you to identify is that which one is the center. So if you get to understand that the readings here are higher, from here you will know that coming this way you'll add, going down you'll minus. What are we minusing? We are minusing the contour interval, because the contour interval is given here. So I can't see it clearly, but I would wish to give you the right answer. But because I can't see it, this looks like 100. It looks like it is increasing. This looks like 180. And therefore, this is when you minus here, because this one looks like 180. So when we are minus 5, because we are going outwards, it becomes 175. So that is how I see it. I'm not so sure of this one, because the answers are not clear. However, if this is 180, this one here, and this is 175, that means 180 plus 5 is 185 plus 5 here is 190 plus 5 here is 195 plus now this one is 200. Actually, this looks like a 200, not 100. So this looks like a 200. So meaning that here you are going up, so you add what do you add? 5 on each contour when you're coming this way. If you're coming down this way, you minus 5. Okay, so meaning that if this is 200, then this one is 5, this one is 5, this one is 5, this one is 5, meaning that 200 minus 5, this is 195, 180, 185. Sorry, this is 200, 195, 190, 185, 180, and that means this one here, which is 6, that comes like this, which is this one, it becomes 175. So if you check here, the option that I will take is 175. How do you get 175? You look at the contour lines here. It looks, when you look at this contour, it looks like it is not having a reading. But on a map, there is no contour without a reading. So you have to look at the shape, you look at the surrounding areas, and then you can depict the number of that contour line. So I feel this is the right answer based on how I look at it. If the other one that I'm seeing is 200, okay. We got the next one. The next one is what? Calculate the average gradient from 7 in block D1 to 8 in A4 on which map? Orthophoto map. You come to this area, still we are using the same map. I will first of all take this one out. That let me delete this. Okay. They want between 7 here and what? Let me check the question quickly. Between 7 and 8. So 7 is in D4, 8 is in F4. In D4 and F4. This is D. This is F4. This is D4. So it's this one here and F4. You go up there. F4. 8 is here. Okay, so those are the two places that we are supposed to do what? We're supposed to use. And what are they asking us? They are asking us to calculate the average gradient. They have given us the formula. The good thing, because we cannot see properly, they have assisted us. They gave us the what? The distance. So they said the measured distance between 7 and 8 is 10, this one. So they have given us the distance, which is the HE. The measured distance the same as HE. So HE is 10,3 centimeters, but they haven't given us the height. So let us look for the height. We go quickly here. I will first of all take this out. Okay. And then you look for the height for that place and the height for the other one. Let me also take this one out. Okay. So we have this place and we have the other one. Okay. So the height of this place here is 209. I don't know if you can see. And the height for this one is 204. So we come here. So we have 209 and 204. Which one is big? This one is bigger. So it's going to be VI is going to be 209 meters minus 204 meters. What is the answer here? Is 5 meters. So the difference between the two heights above the sea level is 5 meters. But the distance between those two places which they have measured for us is 10,3. However, when you check here, this is in meters, this is in what? This one is in centimeters. So we must change this to look like that. What do? We multiply by 100. So it becomes 103, okay, 0 meters. Meaning to say, I have this and I have this as well. So what do? We put it in the formula. It becomes 5 meters over 103 meters. All right, 5 meters and 103 meters. So what do? We divide by the smallest, because the answer must be in the ratio. So we divide by the smallest, which is 5, and we also divide by 5. 5 into this is 1 over 5 into this is somewhere around, let me put it on my calculator here, it's 206. So it is 206. So we have 1 over 206, but this is a fraction. What do? We write it in a ratio. It becomes 21 to 206. So that one becomes our average gradient. Okay. Please don't forget, learners, when you reach here, you must divide by the smallest so that you get the answer in ratio. And don't forget here, you multiply by 100. Why? Because the map we are using here is orthophoto, and we agreed that if it is orthophoto and they want the answer in meters, we use 100. If they want the answer in kilometers, we use what? 0.1. So we are using this to change it to meters so that this one, centimeters, looks like this one here. The same way, if it's topographic, we use 500 and 0.5. But because it is gradient, we multiply by 500 such that this answer here will look like the other one, and then the other aspects are the same. Those are the 4 marks. Okay. I hope we are together in that sense. We got the next one. They say complete the grid reference of the trigonometrical station 114 in block A5. On which map? Topographic. This is the key aspect here. We go to the map, we look for 114. 114 is A5. We come here, 114 is A5. A5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should be here. However, my map is not clear. My map is not clear at all. However, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, I will try to see that. I'll show you how it is done, though it's not clear. Let me just take an example. It is here. I'm just using an example. I'm just imagining, because F5 is this one. So what do? We take this number here. Okay. So that number there is, okay, hold on for me. It is 33. And what is the starting minute? The starting minute is what? The starting minute is 50 what? It looks like a 51. Guys, it's not clear. This map is not clear. This map is not clear. I really can't assist, but I will try to do it if I find it on another map. Probably if I can use this map here, but the maps are not the same, so it might not give us a clear information that we want, but we shall check if we shall find it in another question. Okay, so that I can be in a position to assist you with that. However, here I cannot see. I can't see. Sorry. But all what you need to do is to find the minutes. We count based on the minutes that you see. Okay. Take an example. If we were to use this map here, okay, if we were to use this map here and the features here, you see this one is what? 2901. So you would count, that means this is 01. Okay, that means this one will be 02, this one will be 03, like that. But because we cannot see, I don't want to lie to you that I can see anything. We would count, we start with this one going down. So we take this and the minute that we see here, because it is in the first block. Then we count this one and we start from the minute that you see here. If you check on your map, when it is very clear, you will see that this one is this minute here. So you just count starting from this one and you count like that until you reach the end. Okay, but let me leave that question because that one wasn't clear for me. We got the next thing. You see here the asked area that the other side, and area did not come in paper 1, so you're likely to fetch that question. You're likely to face that question that is asking the area. It can be in meters or it can be what? in kilometers. So calculate the area of a cemetery F in block E2. Let me see if the cemetery is visible. On which map do they tell us? Topographic map, right? Topographic map E2. So the cemetery is here. That is good. The cemetery is this one, F. Okay. So they want us to calculate the area of this. So remember, I told you that when you're calculating area, actually they have given us the measurements, so we don't need to measure anything. They have given us the measurements. So the formula is there. Please don't be confused by L times B and you just put these things here the way they are. This is to confuse you. When they give it to you like this, say L times S and B times S, so that you don't forget the scale. Because they want the answer in meters and you are using the topographic map. Remember, I told you topographic map, if they want the answer in meters, we are using 500. If they want the answer in kilometers, we are using 0.5. So because in this question they want the answer in meters, what are we using? 500. So what are you going to say here? 0.9 times 500. And here we are going to say 0.8 centimeters times 500. That is why it is 3 marks, because they want to see if you can be in position to convert. Is that okay? So we multiply there. What do we get? 4 by this is 45. So it is 45. How many zeros do we see? We take 1 0 because of a decimal place. So this is meters. And this times this, 8 times 5 is 40. So we write a 40 here. How many zeros do we have here? 1, 2, 1 because of the decimal place. So this is meters. So we multiply. Meters by meters, what do you get? Meters squared. 45 times 40, what do you get? Is 100 and what? Or you get 100 and it's 180,000. Okay, 108,000 meters. Please understand. You see, it is 3 times 1. So the conversion is a mark. Okay, and here is a mark, and here is a mark. Please understand, learners, if you miss putting 450 meters times 400 meters, and then if you miss this, and you miss this, and then you come and you put this 180,000 meters squared, this is going to be wrong. The question is, where do you get this from? Yet it is not included here. So you must know that when I multiply meters by meters, I get meters squared. When I multiply this by this, I get this one. That is how you get all your full 4 marks. Please don't miss the units, because if you miss the units, you will miss the marks. Okay, I hope that is very clear, my people. We go to 3.2. 3.2, which is now interpretation of the map. Refer to block C1 and C2 on the topographic map. I'll try to go there and see if it's visible. C1 and C2. I'll try to see if I can see. The first question says, Heather Park is a high or low income residential area. Now this is, you see, they're applying settlement. Remember I told you land use, we have that place called residential area. And I told you that residential area, it is divided into 3. High income, low income, and middle income. Please understand, high income, those are the very big mansions. Low income, these are the informal settlements. Middle income, those are the 2-3 bedroom houses or the town houses. So when you look at that area on the map, do you see it as having very big plots? Check here. C1 and C2, you see there, you see here. These are like areas that are having big blocks and they are far away from the city. So we are now trying to integrate in the aspects. They are far away from the city and they look to be having big blocks. You can see if this area here covers from here to here, that is a block of land. From here to here, meaning that this area will be having high income earners. So I'll say, that is how I'm concluding to say, Heather Park is a high income earners. If they want you to give evidence to support your answer, the first evidence that you're going to have is number one, the big plots of land. You can see that they are dissected. Okay, and if you see the houses are not so close to each other, remember under low income earners like informal settlements, houses are close to each other. They are very small houses close to each other. When it comes to high income earners, those are the big plots of land, mansions far away from each other, and they are covering big areas, and they are always far away from the city. Okay. When you look at it, let us go to the map and check again. What evidence do we have? We have got a golf course here. There's a golf course here. Okay. And that means it's a high income earners, because rich people are normally the ones that play golf. You understand? Rich people like us, you understand that. So we get to understand that golf is a game for the rich. So we can say here as an evidence here that it is close. It's located close to the golf course. It is located close to the golf course. Remember, the people who are enjoying that game are the rich. Therefore, they stay next to it. Number three, that you can say when you look at it on the map here, let's see if you can see on the map. Look at this. This area here, remember, a golf course is located where? It is located in the rural urban fringe. Remember that I told you that the indicators of a rural urban fringe is a golf course, is a shooting range, is a rifle range, is a landing site, is a cemetery, those aspects. So you find that the people who are rich are the ones that go that other side next to a golf course. So you can also give another evidence as it is located close, or it's located within the rural urban fringe. So in that sense, you'll get all your marks. Okay, remember it's a 1 mark question. Okay, you can also talk about it being far away from the CBD, because I told you that the rich people don't want to stay in a CBD. Why? Because the CBD is here. The CBD has got a lot of noise, a lot of congestion. They can even afford transport from wherever they are staying to the CBD. So that's why they stay this as far as this way, because they can afford going to the CBD, than the poor people, because poor people will settle close here because they don't want to waste a lot of transport. You can see these ones here. Okay. Then you can talk about the industrial zone. It can be located far away from the industrial zone because industries make a lot of what? A lot of noise. Those are the things that you should apply. It's application. Okay. Refer to topographical map and the orthophoto map. So we are combining both maps. Identify the human-made feature 9 on the topographic map. On the orthophoto map, sorry. We come here. Feature 9. Where's 9? Right? I'll give it a few minutes so that it can be very clear. Okay. Feature 9. I want to see 9. Okay, it's now clear. 9 is here. What do we see here? Which feature is 9 here? Which one is this, guys? But you cannot understand it clearly if you do not combine it with this map. Can you look here and check? This is the feature 9, because remember, this is the area covered by the orthophoto map. This is feature 9. What is it? The name of the feature 9 can only be seen if you look at here. Let's go back to the question quickly. Refer to that feature 9. Identify that man-made feature 9. Okay. The man-made feature 9, if you check clearly on this map, the name is here. It is here. It's a sewage works. So feature 9 is referred to as a sewage works. So we say here sewage works. Okay. So you write it there and then say, give a reason why. Give a reason why. Give a reason why. Sorry for that. Give a reason why. I want us to look at that feature clearly and see if we can get it clearly. Okay, let us see here. Look here. This is the feature here. The name for the feature is here. It's a sewage work. Okay, it is this feature here. Now, the next question says, give a reason why rural-urban fringe is suitable location. Is a suitable location for this human-made feature. In that case, why do you think the sewage works is located that far? Number one, it is far away from the built-up area, like the residential area. That is why. Remember, sewage smells, so you can't have it close to too many people. So far away from the residential areas. Few people are located in such areas. So because of the bad odor, the odor that it gives, people stay away from it. Okay, number one. Number two, that in that area the land is cheaper. Remember, the rich, most of the time the rich people go in such areas because they can have a very big plot at a cheaper price, and they build those big houses. Okay, the gradient there, when you look at that area, is gentle. The gradient is gentle. Please don't forget that we write answers in a sentence. Okay, and it is also located, let's see here, it is also here, the gradient here is gentle, far away from the built-up area. The people are this other side, so it is located here, far away from the built-up. Remember, the rich are basically occupying these places here, and this thing is here, so it's far from the people, so that the smell does not affect people. Okay, yeah, so we can move on. 3.25. I'll try to move fast now because we are running out of time. 3.25. Identify two pieces of evidence to suggest we are losing. Okay, before we continue there, they say refer to blocks D1 and D2, E1 and 2 on topographic map. We come here, we look at the topographic map, D1, D2, E1, E2. We are referring to these blocks here. We're going to look at them critically and we'll answer those questions that are asked. Identify two pieces of evidence that suggest that George is a popular tourist destination. Why do you think George is a popular tourist destination? So we are going to look at the map quickly. This part here, this part here, this part here, and this part here. What makes it a popular tourist destination? What do you see here? Number one, let's start from this block. What do you see? A golf course. Okay, so number one, the existence of the golf course, it makes it a tourist destination. Are we together? Okay, we continue. Which other evidence do we have there? Let me see if we have any other evidence. I'm looking for any other evidence there. Here we don't have many people occupying this place. It's an open space. So another evidence we can use, okay, for this area is I can see these ones are track and trails. Okay, these ones are track and trails. So first of all, is this a track and trail that is existing? You can also see the golf course is here, the park is here. You can see this is a park, and the park is for people who want to relax their mind. Okay, there are a lot of green here. There is a woodland here, so woodland can be a tourist destination. Okay, so plus other things that you can see on a map clearly. Take an example: if there is a showground, if there is a sports ground, okay, any activity anything that you can see that can attract a tourist, it becomes a point that you can use to answer those questions. I hope that is very clear, my people. Okay, so you can use anything that you see, anything that can attract tourists. Woodland, if there is a river becomes a thing that can attract tourists. Even the transport itself, there are transport routes here that can transport tourists from one place to another. It becomes a place. It now attracts them. Okay, so anything that can be used for tourism becomes evidence. Please don't forget that. Okay, we continue. Refer to feature 10 in block C1 on the orthophoto map. We come here, we look at 10. Where is 10? 10 is here. This is the feature 10. If you come here, 10, let us look at it. 10 is here, slightly above this. So this is the area. 10 is this part here on the topographic, but we are referring to it here on the orthophoto map. Okay? And the first question is, on the topographic map. So feature 10 is on the orthophoto map. Shows crops or trees. Definitely those can't be crops. In this sense, if you cannot tell what this is, you can combine it. Look at this. This is 10 here. What is this? These greens are trees. So when you come here, you know that this texture here, normally the rough texture here is indicating trees. These are all trees. These are all green trees. These are all trees. So in this sense, the answer for this one can't be crops. It is what? It's trees. Okay, give evidence for your answer. What do we say? Number one, rough texture. Okay, the rough texture that you see on a map is indicating the green or the vegetation. Okay, then you can also talk about it. What do you see? You say what you see, the black tone or the black color. Look at this. This black tone here is indicating that it was a vegetation. So you give evidence based on that. Okay, and so on and so forth. Okay, then refer to block D3 and D4 on the topographic. So that means this time around we are using the topographic. Okay, the topographic. Identify two factors that influence the location of the industries in George industries. We say D3 and D4. Come here. D3 is here. Okay, this is D3 and this is D4. So this area here is the industrial zone. You can see this dark texture, big blocks. These are heavy industries. Okay, if you see this kind of dark colors, big blocks concentrating in one area far away from the CBD, close to the major transport route. Actually, I'm giving answers now before even I focus on the question. It says, what makes it suitable, this place, to be the best place for industries? Number one, the transport and communication routes. Okay, what do we see? This is a railway line. This is a national route. So that is one. Okay, you can say the railway line, the existence of the railway line. Remember, the railway line is used to transport the bulky products. So if these industries are producing bulk products, they can be easily transported to their markets using this railway line. Okay, then there is a freeway here, a national route here. Okay, then number two, look at the nature of the contour lines. It is not so close to each other, which makes this place flat, and therefore if it is flat, it is suitable for the construction of industries. Number three, that here is an area where it is surrounded by built up areas, meaning that there are people around the industrial zone that can provide labor to the industries here. So the availability of cheap labor or the availability of labor from the nearby built up areas or people. Okay, on top of that, what else do we see? Remember, it is called George Industrial. This part here is George Industrial. So we have got transport routes here, we have got this, we have got labor. We can say if these people provide labor, that means they can as well provide market. So there is ready market for the industry, for the goods produced in these industries here. Number four, based on this, what do you see this? This is a cemetery. So a cemetery is found in areas in the rural urban fringe. Rural urban fringe has got free land. So there is available land, readily available land in this area, which makes it a suitable place for industry. So that means if these industries want to extend them to other areas, they can easily extend them because the land is available. But remember, this is based on the evidence that you have on the map. All right, so you can have those answers there. So you can write these answers here. like what? Sorry, you can write the answers here, like gentle land or flat land. You can say flat land for industrial development. Remember, I told you that you don't write just flat land for industrial development. Okay, then adequate land for what? For expansion of industries. Remember, when you look at the southwest, there is a lot of land that the southwest there is a lot of land that is free. Okay, then talk about the transport routes. And we talk about transport routes, I want you to refer to the railway line. Also, there is a national roads. I don't know which national roads are those ones, but they are ends, end roads, N1, N2, but I don't know which end is that is around that. But when you check on the map, clearly you will see, but I can see on the map it's indicated that this is a national road here. I don't know which end is this. There's an N road here, okay, that can be used to transport the products there. So you can talk of labor, cheap labor, or labor availability from the nearby population, nearby build up area. So this labor is coming from the people because the area is built up. That means it's not only labor, it can also provide what? Market. All those are factors, but they want only two, so we cannot finish them. Let's go to the GIS. GIS refer to topographic map. The orthophoto. Orthophoto map is represented what? Remember when I was explaining the previous paper, I told you that an example of raster data is the orthophoto. So the answer here is raster data. Are we together? Then we continue. Give a reason for your answer, because it is an image. It is an image or photo. Where is it coming from? From that word orthophoto, meaning that it's a photo. A photo is in form of pixels, and when you talk about pixels, you are referring to raster data. Okay, it's an orthophoto map. Okay, or you can say it is made up of pixels. So that is evidence enough. 3.3.3, state the main data layer that limits the town from developing in this block. What limits the town from developing in block A5? We come here. Which map are they referring us to use? Topographic in block A5. So here, which data layer is limiting the extension in this block? It's basically, when you look at it, this area here has got contour lines that are close to each other, meaning that it's going to be the steep gradient. Okay, the steep gradient, or you can say the nature of land or the relief. So here the main data is the relief, which is the general appearance of the land. And in that case, when you look at that land, it is steep. How does this data layer mentioned above limit the development? Number one, if the area has got contour lines close to each other, it means that that area is steep. Therefore, it is difficult to construct. It's difficult to construct on such steep area, or it's difficult to build. But people build there. But if you are to build there, that means you're going to use a lot of money. Therefore, it is going to be expensive. Remember, not all of you are building in those expensive areas, because in the mountainous areas, it's too expensive. You have to level the area, then you put your structure on that area. That is all money. And that's why you see that in the mountainous area, the people who build those big structures or proper structures are the rich, because they can afford. It's difficult to build there. Number two, it is very expensive to build in such an area. We only want one answer there. But remember, I always tell my learners, and I'm still telling you, that please don't write exactly. It says 1 times 2. Don't write one answer. Write 2, so that if one is not standing so strong, the other one can still bail you out. Okay. Refer to feature G in block C3 on the orthophoto map. Sorry, on the topographic map. We come here. What are they referring to? They want us to refer to feature 3, which is G. Refer to feature G in block C3. C3. Where is C3? C3. Okay. This is here. C3. This one. The feature is there. How do we tell? You can combine. You come here. You can combine this. So it is somewhere around here. Okay. Let's look at our questions quickly. Refer to feature 3 on the topographic map. Yeah, sorry. Refer to feature G on the topographic map. Come here. G is here on the topographic map. 1, 2, 3. So we are here. Sorry. We are referring to this. Okay. All right. The first question says, use the table below to merge the columns A. Write only letter A or B depending on what you are asked. Spatial data of a hospital is this. Attribute is this. I told you spatial shows location. And the location must be in degrees, minutes, and seconds. So definitely this goes here. And attribute, 200 beds, this goes here. So attribute, further explanation of a geographical feature. Therefore, A is B. Sorry, number 1 is B, and number 2 is what? Is A. Just like that. You remember spatial is location. Location, we are using coordinates. So this one goes here. Attribute, further explanation of a geographical feature. Take an example, a school. If it's a school, it will be located where? Let's say 36 Goldman. Where? Rodport or Florida. Okay. Is it a mixed boys and girls? You are giving further information about the geographical feature. It becomes attribute. Okay. So I think we are good with that. I'm doing our last question for the day, and I want to be very fast here. It is Bloemfontein. And therefore, we are going to be looking at this map for Bloemfontein. We are going to be looking at this map for Bloemfontein. We're just going to give me a few seconds as it is becoming clear. Okay, I think nowadays it's clear. Remember, these are online stuff, and therefore it has to load very well. Let's see the question. Bloemfontein is here. Free State. We read. Bloemfontein, please don't go to the questions before you read this information here. Okay? You don't go to the question before we read this information here. Okay? Let us read the information that we need. Bloemfontein is the capital city of Free State. It is located in central South Africa on the southern edge of the Highveld. The area is generally flat with isolated hills. Although agriculture is the main primary activity, businesses mainly drive Bloemfontein's economy. Due to the many businesses, it has attracted many people into the area. This has led to many developments. Okay. Those are the things we're supposed to read just for us to understand. Because if you have a question that requires us to get that, then we can do it. Okay. Let us look at the questions. The first question. It says, the topographic map or orthophoto map. The topographic map or orthophoto map. Are we together? The topographic map or orthophoto map has a smaller scale. Which one has a smaller scale? Now, some learners confused because topo is 1 to 50,000. Ortho is 1 to 10,000. But when you look at this number indicates how many times the map can be reduced or enlarged. So when you look at this, 5 and 1, if you reduce the 0, 5 here, 1 here. In your own understanding, 1 is bigger and 5 is bigger, 1 is smaller. But in this sense, the smaller the number, the bigger the map. The bigger the number, the smaller the map. So meaning that topographic map with 5 is smaller. The orthophoto map with 1 is bigger. Please understand that. The bigger the scale, actually, if you're going to forget, remember this. ERE. Enlarged map, scale reduces. Reduced map, scale enlarges. Remember, this orthophoto map is coming from that small section on the topographic map. That means it has been enlarged. Because it has been enlarged, the scale is now reducing. That's why it is 10,000. Because this one is now is covering a very bigger area, that's why the scale is like that. Okay, so depending on the area it covers, that is the scale we use. All right, so the topographic map that has got a bigger number, which is 5 or 50,000, is small. It's a smaller scale. Whereas this one that has got a smaller number is having a bigger scale. I hope that is clear. So the answer here is topographic. Okay, we go to 3.2. Okay, 3.2, it says the smaller scale shows number 1, a smaller area. No, that is very wrong. It shows a bigger area. Number 2, greater details. No, so it shows a large area as well as less details. You see the orthophoto map, please understand me. Orthophoto map, okay, shows a very small area but with a lot of details. Whereas the topographic map, it shows a larger area but with less details. Remember, if it's having covering a very large area, you have to use a very small scale to ensure that all that area is catered for. Okay, so the answer here is D, 3 and 4. We go on. Next question. It says the grid reference of a reservoir at F in block B1 on the topographic map is what? Now, when it comes to understanding coordinates, you must know that the latitude comes first. The latitude ends with S. The longitude last, it ends with E. So all these ones are starting with S. Okay, so they can be right depending on what you're looking at. So let us go to F. Where is F? F is here. Okay, the latitude here is 29. Okay, 29 0 what? Okay, so it is 29. So the latitude should be 29. The longitude should be 26. We are coming here first to the option is given. The latitude should be 29. So that means the only numbers that start with the 29 and S are these two. So this one is out and this one is out because we start with a latitude that, according to the map, the latitude starts with 29. Remember, it is drawn like this, What the number do we see here is a 0, 1. Okay, 0, 1. Then the number we see here is a 10. Okay, so we come here, we check. Which one starts with a 0, 1? It's this one, 0, 1, and this one is 2. Let us check here. This is 0, 1, and the feature is where? So this is 1, it comes up to here. This is 2, it comes up to here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that, going down. All right, and then that means this is 10. Okay, this is 26, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's why here you see 15 here. Do you see that? But the degree has not changed. So on looking at that, we get to see that the answer should be starting with a 2. And then a 10 is there and a 12. So the only answer here that we have that has got a 2 is only B. So B becomes the right answer. You see, if you use the elimination method, you won't even stress too much. You just look for the right answer like that. So refer to the orthophoto map. We come here, we look at the map. Orthophoto map is where? Is here. Okay, so we are going to refer to this. Okay, which question? Let's quickly go to the question. Refer to the orthophoto map. And the question that you're looking at is saying, determine the true bearing of a spot height at 6 in block 1 from. Remember I told you that the moment they say true bearing, the keyword is from. What is the starting point here? Spot height 1427 at 7. So we come here. Where is 7? 7 is here. So we are starting from 7 here, going to where? Going to 6. Going to 6. So 6 is here, 7 is here. So these are the two areas we are using. What do we do? Remember I told you that we draw a line, a straight line. You know, if you have a ruler to be straight, you're in the two places. Since you are starting at this is where we draw our true north. Straight, it should be straight in relation to these other lines, okay? How do we move? We move clockwise from here to the line that is joining the two places. Are we together? So when you look at this one is 180. So you add on this section here that if you now you will use your protractor, you lay it here such that this one becomes a 0, and then you measure from here to here. So the answer you get here, you add it here. Okay? You add it there, and then when you add it there, it will give you the answer. Let's take an example. From here to here, it's 180, and this is already past 90. So when you add another 90, it becomes 270. So when you add this section that is remaining there, it's like 50, okay, or 40 something. So let's say like 47, okay. So you add there, you get a 7 there. It's like, is it a 40? No, it's like a 37 or 20 something. So you add, basing on what you get, so you'll get your answer. So all what I want you to know is which one is the starting point. In this question, they say from this spot height at 7. So that means 7 is the starting point. So you start from 7, going where? Going this way. So at 7 is where you draw your true north. But you start by joining these two places with a straight line. So you measure clockwise from here to the line that is joining the two places. So from here to here is 180, then plus this section here. The answer you are going to get will be the true bearing. If not, for the smart learners, and if you have, actually I always advise my learners to use a protractor that has got 360 degrees, because for it you just put it here, this one becomes 0, you look at the number from here, you take that number. But if not, you can use another alternative. Get this section from here to here, minus it from 360. The remaining answer is going to be that. Take an example. If this is like, I don't know, I don't have a protractor to measure it, but probably it's before 90. So you minus, let's say 40 some, 50 something or 60 something from 360. The answer you'll have will be the answer from here to here. But I preferably you use clockwise from here until when you meet the line that is joining the two places. All right. Then we come here, refer to the topographic map. Topographic map. So we go to topographic map, capture the average gradient from the spot height 1358 at G in block A3 to the trigonomical station 96 at H in this. So now here they use trigonomical station. Now some learners confuse this. If they say trigonomical station, the symbol is like this. There is a number on top and there is a number below. We use the number with a decimal place. Please normally use the number, because the number with the decimal place is the height. But the good thing is that here they gave you the distance between the two spot height. They gave you already the distance. So what are you going to do to calculate the difference? So we say VI will be the difference between the two heights. So we come here. The trig beacon is 96. In which block? It's in block C4. You come here, C4. H is here. Okay? So the height of this twig beacon is this number below here. I don't know if you can see there, but now I can see it here. But if you can't see it, I will tell you. The number there is 1455.6. 1455.6. So we come here to the question here. Okay, but if you can't see, I can zoom it a little bit out so that you can be in position to see this number. So this is 96 here, but you're looking at this number that has a decimal place. Is the height of that twig beacon. Okay, so the height of the twig beacon and the height of a spot height. So the spot height is this. So we are just getting the one for the twig beacon. So the twig beacon is 1455.6 height meters above sea level minus 1358. What is the difference? The difference is 97.6. 97.6 meters. So you come here, so we have 97.6 meters over. What is the distance between the two? If they have not given you the distance, what do? You measure from those two, from this to the spot height. Okay, from that place to the spot height. The spot height is in which block? According to this question, the spot height is in is G, in block A3. Okay, G. So this is the spot height. So you just measure the distance from here to here. Okay, in centimeters, and then you convert. The good thing that in this question the distance was given, which is 7.6. So you just say 7.8 centimeters, and 7.8 centimeters we multiply it by what? By 500. Why 500? Because the map we are using in this question is a topographic map. Please don't forget, I said topographic meters, 500 kilometers, 0.5. Then you multiply. Let me multiply. Let me just go to my calculator here. 7.8 times 500, you get 3900 meters. Okay, so you have this, you have this. What do? We put it in our formula. It is 97.6 over and 3900 meters. But remember, I told you when you reach here, you don't divide it directly, you divide by the smallest. Divide by 97.6, you also divide this by 97.6. So that this into this is 1 over this into this. How many times do we have there? It is 39.96. So it is 39.96. This is a fraction. What do? We put it in the ratio. The ratio is 1 to 39.96. And that becomes our answer. Those are the 4 marks. Okay. Now, in the gradient in that question above, is it steep or gentle? Remember, my learners, I told you, you can look at the answer given or you can look at the map. Okay? When you check the map here, between this and this, are the contour lines close to each other? No. Okay? But if the contour lines are close to each other, what do you say? It is steep. If the contour lines are far away from each other, what do we say? It is gentle. But based on this answer, based on the gradient that we have in this area, okay, we shall say that the area is gentle, unless they say using your answer above. If you're using your answer above, that means you will say it is steep. But based on the map that we are looking at, the other side, where we have calculated, the contour lines are far away from each other, which means it is a gentle gradient. So why would this gradient in that above be an advantage to the road construction? You see, if you're constructing a road, you can easily construct it where it is gentle. Why? Because it is less expensive to construct. Or you can say it is easy to construct a road on a gentle gradient. but it is very difficult to construct it on a steeper gradient. So it is easy to construct it, okay? It is cheap also, it's less expensive, it is easy to construct a road, it is less expensive to construct a road, okay? Then it is also safe to build a road in that area. It is safe to build a road, or you don't need to even put tunnels there, okay? No tunnels or pass in order for you to construct a road, because it is gentle than in situations where it is mountainous, where you need to cut the mountain so that you can put the tunnels to construct roads. It becomes very, very expensive. Let us look at the interpretation. We are referring to the orthophoto map in this sense. The main settlement pattern, the moment they talk about pattern, we look at two: dispersed and what? And nucleated. This is only settlement pattern, dispersed and nucleated. So we are going to look at area 8 in block D1 and E1 on the orthophoto map. 8 is here, isn't it? It says 8 in D1 and E1. 8 is here. You can see these are settlements. Are they close to each other or they are far away from each other? You remember nucleated, we said, is close to each other. This one means settlements are close to each other, whereas dispersed settlements are far away from each other. When you look at our map here, 8 here, you can see that these are houses that are close to each other. Therefore, it is nucleated. Okay. We go on. So the answer here is what? Is B. Refer to the woodland hills settlement in block B2 on the topographic map. B2, topographic, B2, this one here. Woodland hill is here. This is the area they are referring at. They want us to use. Woodland hill, it is here. This is the area. Okay. Let's see the question. It says, what evidence suggests that the suburb is still undergoing construction? What suggests that this area is still undergoing construction? Let us see this area. The area is here. What do you see here? What do you see here? Okay. When you look at this woodland area, we don't have too many roads here. So that means the roads are still undergoing. This road comes here, it ends here. So it has not gone through. Okay. So that means maybe there's, not because this area is steep that this can stop it from going that other side. That means the roads here are incomplete. So the roads have not yet been completed. Number one. Number two is that these spaces are free. There is nothing here. That means there is still vacant places or areas or plots. So some plots here have not been used. So it is still undergoing construction. Okay. So that can be evidence for why you can say this area is undergoing construction. If they want you to look at the area, other things that you can, if the question comes and it is talking about evidence to show that the area is very old, then you can look at things like a monument, like maybe a old town hall. So you will know, or the nature of the street pattern, you will know that this area is very old. So those are the kind of things that we can use in that sense. So the evidence here, we can say roads are still under construction. Roads are incomplete, or they are not yet done with those roads. You can also say they are vacant areas. They are free or vacant or free areas. Vacant areas or vacant plots that have not yet been occupied. So the area is still new. Altogether, explain the negative impact of this development could have on the farming activity. Just know that if this development continues, what will happen? Agricultural land will decrease. Agricultural farming land will decrease because construction will take the area away, and that means people will not have area to construct, to do their farming. And you know, in the process of construction, there is construction of tunnels, digging of trenches, so there are chances of flooding. Flooding is likely to take place. Flooding is likely to take place. And you also know that if there is construction, they use a lot of water, and that means there will be scarce water to use in the area. Scarce water, because construction requires people to use water, okay, to take place, and so on and so forth. But they need only one, okay. And in fact, the residential area 9 in block B4 and C4, residential area in block B4 and C4, let's see which map is used on the orthophoto. B4 and C4 on the orthophoto. B4 and C4. B4, that means this area here, and C4 and this area. So we are looking at this area strictly here. Let me first take these things out here so that we can be in a position to see. Okay, they want us to refer to this area here. Let us go back to the question and we'll read it clearly. Refer the residential area 9 in B4 and C4 on the orthophoto map. How did the topography, when they say the topography, they are referring to relief. Here, the word topography is referring to relief, or the nature of what? Of land. How did the topography influence the development of the gradient street pattern evident in the residential area? We look at this area. Let's go back to the area. This area here, you see there's the nature of the road, the construction here is in the form of those blocks or grids. How is it under the influence of how the street pattern influenced the construction, the nature of the streets? How did the topography, we are looking at the nature of the land, how did it influence the grid structure in that sense? Okay, so we are looking at how the nature of the gradient influenced. So if you look at the area, is it steep or it is gentle? Let's go back. When you look at this area, look at the contour lines. The contour lines this other side are a bit close to each other, but here they are far away from each other, meaning that this area is flat. Therefore, we agreed last time in the previous question paper that if the area is flat or gentle, it influences the construction of the grade street pattern. You remember that? So here we are going to say, because it is flat, therefore it is easy to construct those grid street pattern. Okay, it is flat, and also it being flat, it is easy for the streets to be properly constructed. Remember, for the grid street pattern to take place, the gradient must be flat, so that you can have one way is going the other side, one way is coming this other side, or two ways going and coming back. So you can easily construct the junctions within the road because of that nature of the land, which is flat. So you see that the questions are coming back in the same way, the same question, but in a different way. So please understand, gradient, the area must be flat. Okay. Explain one economic advantage that residents in the residential area 9 will experience as a result of its location. How would the location affect the residents? Okay, how would the location affect the residents? They can affect them negatively and positively, but in this sense, if you look at it, there is one economic advantage of the residential area. If that area is there, how will it affect the residents at 9? Residential area at 9. Okay, number one, it will be easy for them to go to the shopping, meaning that they can. Number one, actually, the first very point should be there will be employment of people. So if that area is built economically, people will be employed and they will get money. They are looking at economic advantage. Okay, and when we talk about economic advantage, we are looking at things that generate money. So employment is one. Employment is one. Number two, cheaper houses will be available. That is economic advantage. Cheaper houses will be available. So people will have access, will be available. People will have access to very cheap houses because they have built the area. So the houses will be available, very cheap houses will be available for these people to rent and sleep in. Okay, so you also know that it will reduce the transport costs. Reduce transport costs. So instead of you transporting or going for longer distances for shopping, the area will be near, and that will reduce your transport costs in that sense. Okay, and so on and so forth. There are very many points you can give in that sense. So let us look at this question. It says refer to block A1, A2, and B1 and B2 on the topographic map. A1, A2, B1, B2. We come here. A1, A2, B1, B2. So we are referring to these 4 blocks here. Okay, we are referring to those 4 blocks there. And the first question says, the first question says, so I think you can analyze this area here quickly. You can look at it, A1, A2, B1, B2. When they want us to look at that area and answer the questions. The first question is identify the primary activity practiced in block A1, A2. Let us go back to the map. Primary activity identified in block A1, A2. If they say primary activities, what do we look at? Let's see. What evidence that we look at to say this area has got this activity? Look at this. This is A1, this is A2, right? This is A1, this is A2. What evidence do you see there? If you look at this, here is what we call diggings. Can you see that diggings? Okay. Diggings, that means there's a primary activity of agriculture. Okay, so the evidence we can have there is agriculture. And if we have maybe a cultivated land, in that sense, you will know that there is also agriculture or farming taking place. But the main activity here is agriculture. Okay, so the answer that we can use here, primary, is agriculture. Remember, if they talk about primary activity, we are referring to which section of geography? Is economic geography. Okay, why is this primary activity in that answer above practiced on large scale? Let's see here. Why is it practiced on large scale? Because when you look at this area has got a lot of free land. Look at it. It is so gentle. It's not that steep to affect mechanization. So because it is gentle, we can easily practice large scale farming. Number one. Number two, it has got water sources here. There is a dam here. This is a river here. So this water can be used in the irrigation process on this large scale farm. Okay, do you see that? So that means we have got large land here, large land available. Then number one. Number two, we have got very big land, also gentle and big land. So vacant land is available, cheap land is available, and also availability of water. So it becomes easy for agriculture to be practiced, most especially on large scale, if such aspects exist. Okay, so let's go back to the question and we put our answers there. Why is this activity taking place? Number one, access to water from the river, to water from the rivers and from the dams that are there. Number two is large tract of land or large chunk of land. There's a very big land that is available that can be used for large scale farming. Remember, large scale farming requires very big land. Okay, and to also look at the nature of the land, which is flat. So if the land is flat, that means mechanization can easily be practiced, and mechanization is one activity that can take place where we have flat land. Okay, So because the land is flat or gentle, mechanization can be practiced. And mechanization is a characteristic of large-scale farming. Are we together, guys? Let's proceed. Look at C. Identify 2 strategies that were put in place in the blocks A1 and A2, B1 and B2 to ensure regular water supply for this primary activity. What do they have there? Number 1, we have identified a dam. We have identified that there's a dam here. What are dams used for? To store water for irrigation. So, number 1, existence or the construction of a dam. Construction of a dam. So the dam is helping in easy access to what? To water. Are we together? Let's look at other evidence we can look at. Let's see. I'm trying to look at the evidence that I can see. I can see the dam, which is well and good. Maybe let me try to make it a little bit bigger. Okay. There's a dam there. There is a furrow here. Okay. That means the furrow is transporting also water. What else do I have there? What else do I have there? I'm looking for evidence. But basically the evidence I can see on this map for now, I can see there's even a zero there. The zeros are basically used to store agricultural products. So this is a furrow. This is a furrow. So we can say here existence of a dam. We also have the furrows. Okay. So we are going to say the construction of the dams and also the construction of the furrows. So the furrows take water. Okay. I don't know if there is any other evidence you can see, but I'm seeing the furrows, but I'm also seeing a reservoir here. So that means there is also a reservoir. Okay. The existence of a reservoir. Okay. The existence of a reservoir. These are all related to water supply for agricultural products. The last section of this part for a day is going to be GIS. The process of converting data from raster to vector format is called, what is it called? Okay, you are converting data from raster to vector. Okay, so from image to lines, like, and so on and so forth, from pictures to lines, points, and polygon. So we have data analysis, integration, layering. Let us analyze one by one. Analysis is when you look at data critically. Okay, so you might look at critical and you don't integrate it. Okay, integration is putting data together. Data layering is putting data on top of each other, and therefore the only option that you are remaining with is manipulation. Manipulation is the process of converting data from raster data to vector formatting. So the answer there is only D. It's manipulation, when you can play with the data for your advantage. All right. 3.2 it says explain how data was converted from vector aerial photos graph, which is used to make the orthophoto map, to a topographic map. How is this done? So data was converted. In this case, how was it converted? It was converted by changing the scale. Okay, it was converted by changing the scale. Remember, we said that the scale for the orthophoto is 10,000, 1 to 10,000. The scale for the topographic is 1 to 50,000. So data is converted from a vector photo to a orthophoto map, to the topographic map, by changing the scale. All right. And we can also look at another option to say by using of symbols. By using what? Using symbols. Remember, if you use symbols is basically vector data is used on the topographic map, and therefore you have got points, lines, and polygon. And then raster data is used on the orthophoto map, so we have got pictures. So they are using symbols now instead of what? pictures. That's why we say they can use that method. All right, lastly, which is our last part, say refer to A3 on the topographic map. We come to A3, A1, A2, A3. So we are referring to this section here. All right, let's look at the question. Human feature, they say redraw the block A3 and insert only the following features. Human feature, human made line feature. Let us go to the map. The map is here. Okay, this section here. What is a line feature that we see there? Please check nicely, guys. Look at what do you see as a line feature? Okay, we have got this. This is a road. It's a line feature. Okay, we have got track and trail. Is a line feature. Okay, what else? Then what else do we have there? Block 3. Remember, we are referring to this block here. So there is also this feature here. So we come here. We come here. I'm going to draw. This is our block here, A3, because they say redraw. Okay, so I will draw my A3 here. And they say refer to the line feature. When you look at the line feature, we have got a road here. That is a line feature. We have got another one here. Another road here. Then we have got a track and trail that was passing there. I think I did it. You saw it. Then we have got a track and trail here. We have got a road here and a road here. So meaning to say the first one is done. Then they say a polygon made feature in this area. We come here. A polygon, we said something that forms a shape. Okay. I want to first delete this so that I can be in a position to see the polygon feature that I want to refer to. Okay, we have got this here. We have got this here. There's a polygon feature here. Okay, there's a polygon feature here. All those ones are making shapes. So we are looking at something that makes a shape. So we come here. There is this and this on top there. So we come here. There is this one here, and there is something here that looks like this. You see that? It doesn't require someone who is an artist to draw that. Okay. Then what else? According to the question. Remember, we are answering according to the question. Okay. The question says here, polygon. So we are done with the polygon. So this is like erosion feature. This is like I don't know what is it called. You can look at the key there and identify the name. Then you look at that, and then yeah, those are the features they told you to draw. 2 marks. They just want to know if you can identify something that is like a line, and if you can identify something that forms a shape. That's all. Then you draw it the way you see it on the map there. Okay. Then you don't need to draw it accurately, like you want to measure. So no, you just need to draw it sketchily and then put the features they want. That's all what you want, or that's what we're looking for. Okay. Then lastly is saying define data integration. What is data integration? Okay. So we can give them names if you want. You can give them names based on the way you can. So this is a road. You can say road. This one you can say track and trail. It's called what? A track and track and trail or footpaths. Okay, and then somewhere there we have got a farm. Okay, then you have got a dam wall and all that. So you can refer to any of those ones. So there is a cultivate. This is an excavation, and this is there is also a dam. I saw a dam somewhere. Where is the dam? This looks like a dam here, because we are referring to this block here. This is a dam here. This is a dam wall here. So this is a dam here, because this is the whole block 3. This is a river here. You know, there's even this is a line feature. So you can draw anything that you know you will get a mark from that, so long as they want you to draw it. Okay, let's look at the last question. The last question says, what is data integration? Just like the way you hear the word data integration here. What is data integration? What is to integrate? You put things all together. So meaning that to integrate is combining of data layers. Combining of data layers or information on the map. You put it together, you integrate it. Like you can look at what is on the topographic map and what is on the orthophoto map, then you integrate it, you merge to come up with one. And lastly is name the method of data integration used on the topographic map. What is that? The name of the data integration used on the orthophoto on the topographic map is data layering. Data layering or data layers.